Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers play the Jazz tonight at 7:15. Why the 15? Because we're in Utah, so it's an entirely different clock. 7:15 tonight at the Utah Jazz Arena. I'm not sure the exact name of it anymore. They keep changing it, so where it's at right now, I'm not certain. But we'll be there, and they're 8-3, and they beat the heck out of us a couple days ago. So we're going to have to play a lot better to beat them. It's literally that simple. Our defense was probably the worst of the season against the Utah Jazz. They could not miss from the inside. I think they scored 64 points or something like that in the paint, and they couldn't miss from the outside. They shot above 50% from the three, if I'm not mistaken. So it was just a barrage of offense, and we did not um, do enough. You know, we scored 115 points in that game, so we did get a lot of scoring out of guys, but AD had a no-show in the fourth quarter in that game. Well, guess what? We played the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday in a midday game, and it was the same exact thing. AD played fantastic in the first half of that game, and in the second half, he didn't get the ball for like 9 minutes straight. I sat there and watched it myself. It was just a whole lot of nothing going on, and I got on here and I called out him and I called out Darvin Ham, and I said, you need to call your number out. Make sure that they're getting you the ball. You got to demand that. There's no excuse for him to be playing as well as we did, having us have the lead, and then him not having the ball given to him in the second half, us be completely, thrown, upside down in regards to the score, and nothing gets called for him. So my thing was, Darvin needs to be the one accountable for that, because you need to call his number. If he's okay with not getting the ball, that's his problem. That don't mean that we need to be as a team. We don't need Troy Brown and Walker taking more shots than Anthony Davis, especially in a game where Anthony Davis is healthy and playing well, and it's working. It's like, no, we don't, and we don't need to be doing that in any way, shape, and form. And then I listen to Darvin Ham, he's like, well, no, it's not that simple. No, it's not about me just calling plays. We're trying to do a lot of different things, and it goes into why you're seeing what you're seeing. We're trying to play faster, so that makes it so that we're running the ball through our guards. And AD has the ability to call his number out anytime he wants to. We have a barrage of packages that we use, and guys are professionals. They know what they need to do. They know how this works. If you need the ball, you see something out there, you call a play for yourself and you make it happen. And so that's what Darvin Ham's offense is set up to do, to give you the freedom to call those plays and get your number called. And if you're Anthony Davis and that's the setup, then we got to just work that into the equation and make that a part of your regular routine. Maybe it wasn't like that last year, but we got to work that into the equation to say, okay, it's about being proactive and saying, now's my time, give me the ball. And so, it's just about everybody communicating what it is that will get the best out of one another. I think Darvin Ham, maybe it's important to reiterate that, for which seems like common sense to him, but may not be common sense to AD based on for whatever, however. You know what I mean? I think that listening to Darvin Ham, it's like he feels irritated by that truth. And my thing is, this is new. You know what I mean? This is new, bro. Maybe that's not how it went in other offenses. So I would just encourage him to be patient with his players as they would want him to be patient with him, and be patient with the fans as well. Because like I said, I'm looking at you like, why you ain't calling plays for him as well? So patience is needed. And two, I think LeBron James has a big part to play in this. And when I made the video I made in regards to this and saying the statements that I said about AD needing to step up, that was before I read his statements that he said in regards to needing the ball and wanting it, whether he's hot or not, he wants the ball. And I think that it's really on Bron to try to step away from trying to look for his own shot and his own rhythm, because I know he's in a space where he feels he needs to hurry up and find it. But it's not about that. I think you got to look at your shot as something that's just going to have to take a backseat to other aspects of the game that require your attention. Rebounding, getting to the rim, making free throws, and ultimately making sure that AD remembers when it's time for him to call his number. If he for some reason forgets, it's on LeBron James to say, hey, it's your time. And where Bron is, to me, it seems like he's in his own mind. He's in his own mind. You know what I mean? It's like, we can't have a leader who's not focused on leading the bunch. And so that's where we're at. I understand Bron is struggling, but he needs to come back to the group, man. He needs to come back around, bro. Come back around. because this is not a situation where your team can keep it together without you being yourself. And him struggling is not just the only problem. It's just where he's at while struggling. It's okay to miss shots, but it's not okay to not be present with the group in a way that allows guys to still see you the same way they've always looked at you. You Bron James. You got to be Bron James. And I just don't think he's been Bron James for about 2 weeks, both on the court and in his body language and demeanor. He's just somebody else right now. So he's got to get it together. And I think that'll trickle down to other things. But again, AD, we always talk about accountability and what role it plays in various conversations. And this conversation with Anthony Davis is very important because at the end of the day, I don't care if guys are not calling numbers for you or not. I don't care if guys are not getting you the ball. As you said, whether you're on fire or not, you need to be demanding it because at the end of the day, you are the guy that we're going to hope to push forward in regards to this win now situation. If Bron is not going to have it together, we're supposed to still be a playoff team because we got you. You know what I mean? And if that's not who you're going to be, that's a problem. Now, for me, I'm looking at Russell Westbrook saying he's holding up his end of the bargain over the last couple games. And yesterday was yet another game where I thought he was pretty good, even though he stepped back and reverted to some old ways. With the turnovers, I thought his efficiency and his jump shot looked just as good as it did, if not even better. So I want him to continue to keep that arc on that jump shot. That can, his confidence is important, and his belief in himself to make good decisions is important, and the teammates' overall belief in him is also important. And I think that he's starting to see that. The guys are starting to root for him. The guys are starting to play off of him better. His rhythm is starting to be something they're adapting to. Troy Brown's playing well off of him, of course, as we've mentioned many times. And I thought Anthony Davis he had some really good synergy as well. And I think their chemistry can build right now, even though I don't think they really, from what I've seen, I don't think they really vibe like that. Maybe they've had some bad moments. But I think going forward, we've seen some good plays from those two. So I'd like them to explore their two-man game a lot more, because I think that can be something that they can really get together and work on. Lobs and dump passes and stuff like that. That's what Westbrook does. I was sitting here thinking about how immediately when Westbrook got in the game, that's what happened. AD got the ball and started going even harder because he was getting these quick and easy passes from Westbrook that only Westbrook was able to get him. Bron looking for his shot, thinking about himself, not being the playmaker that he normally supposed to be. We didn't have the playmaking dynamic. It wasn't until we put Russell Westbrook, a natural point guard, in the game that we started seeing those looks come to Anthony Davis. That is also what was missing in the fourth quarter. If you look at what was going on down there, you didn't see no Russell Westbrook. And in subsequently, you saw Anthony Davis not receiving the basketball. I think if you would have put Russell Westbrook in the game and told him it's AD time, we would have saw more forcing the ball to AD. Now, I don't know if forcing is the right word, but we would have seen the ball going to AD, and we would have seen more production come his way. So it's just about who you're putting on the floor with Anthony Davis. And you put him on the floor with guys like Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn ain't think about nothing but shooting the ball, like literally. No, don't put him on the floor with Kendrick Nunn. Don't put Kendrick Nunn on the floor at all. But you want to put yourself in position to have him down there with point guards. Austin Reeves needs to be thinking about getting the ball to AD. You're a point guard, Austin. I want to see Austin get more involved. We talked about him yesterday. Good rebounding, drew a charge. Those things stood out. 0 for 1 attempts, no assists. I can't do nothing with that. And you running around for over 22 minutes? Nah, bro, I can't do nothing with that. Account for some scoring. Use that passing ability to score for some scoring. Account for some scoring, Account for scoring, and please help us in that way, man. We need more points from you. You can get to the line. You can grab a couple dunks. Give me 2 dunks. I know Austin Reeves can give me 2 dunks or 2 layups. Get to the line. Bam. Maybe a 3 or 2 is going to come your way anyway because you're always open for a 3-point shot. That'll fall. 1 or 2 of those will fall. Look up. You got 10 points plus. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of production I need from him. He can give me that. I know he can give me more than that. I'm certain he can give me more than that. We just got to feature him a bit more and put him on the floor with lineups that he can utilize and get the most out of, etc. So, that's what it's about, man. I'm just very excited that Russell Westbrook is in a place where he now is an asset, and I can look at him as somebody who can help make other people better. Once we have that back in place, now we have a different team. Instead of looking at Russell Westbrook as somebody who's hurting the team and taking stuff from us, now I'm looking at him and saying, okay, now you can help us get AD involved. Okay, now you can help give us some nice fast breaks with Walker. okay, now our defense is a little better. You know what I'm saying? It just gives us an entirely different dynamic. So his confidence is of the utmost importance. And the people around him believing in him, following Darvin Ham's lead, is of, they need to do that, basically. That's of the utmost importance. All right, so let's get into the game a little further. Utah Jazz on the road, altitude. Here's the deal. Utah played the Clippers last night. I have no idea how they played. I should have checked. I just didn't even think about it. But they did play them last night. I don't know how it went. Who cares? Point is, they had to fly back to Utah last night, just like we had to fly to Utah yesterday. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be a little tired, a little jet lagged. I'm assuming that's some type of road trip, whether it's 1 game, 2 game. Rarely does a team end up in Los Angeles to play 2 games. Obviously, they played us, so they had been in LA for a while. But I'm thinking they're tired. They're a tired bunch, and we should be able to catch them, bottom line. So, yeah, I think this is one of those situations where the Utah Jazz, having shot the ball so well against us, probably feel really confident that they're going to do the same thing. What we need to do is throw different looks at them than we did in that game. 115 points wasn't enough to beat them. So if LeBron James is going to come out and struggle, we ain't got a chance. And I don't even know if everybody's going to play because it's a back-to-back on the road after a home game, etc. I would not be surprised if we set somebody. But I don't expect it to be AD, given what he said. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to get back out there and run, and I expect him to be more aggressive. So we'll see what happens there, man. But it ain't enough to be aggressive in the first half. You got to give me that for 4 quarters, and it has to be about you. And it has to be on Darvin Ham. I know Darvin don't want to take onus for that. But at the end of the day, if we say, look, we know we haven't featured AD enough in the second half of these games, and we know as a consequence we have not been as competitive as we were in the first half of these games. Let's make it an overall concerted effort to get him involved in the second half of these ball games for the rest of the season, not just for the time being, but make it a regular thing to where not only are we encouraging him to call his number, but we're also looking for him as well. That way we disarm ourselves of any of this nonsense. At the end of the day, I don't care why or how he isn't getting the ball. We as a team would be best if he got the ball. So let's collectively make it a concerted effort to get him that ball. Okay, that's it. That's all I want to hear in regards to AD. Enough of that. Okay, so Lauri Markkanen, that's going to be an all-star this year, so we need to double team him as much as possible and just understand that he's going to do a lot of things on both sides of the floor. He's growing as a defender, particularly a shot blocker. We have to be aware of him. Speaking of shot blocking, we got a guy by the name of Walker Kessler, who was fresh off injury when we last seen him. He'll be feeling a lot better tonight than he was even then, which means he's going to be more of a problem. AD tried him, got blocked. Just like I said, don't try him. He's a shot blocker. But you do understand, of course, that AD came back and dunked on him in the very next play, so he better not try AD as well. We understand that. Kelly Olynyk is a very, very serious shooter. Somebody who rebounds the ball very well. Somebody, when he's focused, can really put up an all-star level performance himself. So you got to be aware of him. And then the 3-guard monster trio that they got down there. Jordan Clarkson, who's playing like an all-star. Mike Conley, who fits in perfectly with this team as a playmaker, getting all kinds of assists. Healthy, back to playing like Mike Conley, which I didn't see coming, to be honest with you. I got to apologize to him because I bashed his contract. But, you know, when you put a good player in a good situation where everything around them kind of fits them, that's what you have there. You know, Conley looks great in this rotation. And, of course, you're dealing with the young bull, Colin Sexton, who's also starting to round into form, getting into shape. And, of course, that means 30-point games will be coming very soon from the big dog there, Colin Sexton, the young bull. So I'm very aware of all the talent this team has. OJ Abaje is also on the back of their bench, a young talented rookie that they got in the trade from Cleveland. THT, who's a player we obviously know very well, NBA champion with the LA Lakers. He's playing great with the Utah Jazz. I'm so sick of seeing guys leave here and then play great in the places they're at, but that's basically what we've seen from THT, doing a lot of good things to hurt us in that game. You know what I mean? They just have a really talented bunch of players on this Utah Jazz squad. Malik Beasley, who had a 1-for-7 game against us. So I'm pretty sure at home he's going to have a much different way to play. So we had better be ready for him to ring off some shots tonight. That's inevitable. The one thing that I'm starting to see the Lakers do that I really don't like over the last 2 games, especially in this last game, is the open 3-point shots we were able to give to legitimate 3-point shooters. I don't understand. I don't get it. We weren't doing that in the first 6 games of the season, even when we were getting blown out. Now, all of a sudden, I'm seeing guys who legitimately are paid to shoot the ball just happen to be open for wide open 3-point shots with no one in front of them. It happened at least 3 times yesterday. I'm not talking about non-shooters. We talking about dudes that shoot. I'm like, nah, we have got to figure out where our defense is going wrong over the last 2 days. Against Utah, obviously it was horrible. And yesterday, more of what it is I'm saying. If we don't guard the perimeter, it does not matter how well we shoot the ball. We're going to get beat. Simple and plain. The Utah Jazz probably the best 3-point shooting team not named Golden State right now. And we need to make sure that we honor that truth by keeping bodies out there in the perimeter that can do some things to help us against those bigs that shoot the ball. I don't know if Patrick Beverley is going to be available. He's been missing for the last 2 games. It's hard to say that that's addition by subtraction since we lost both of those games and sucked defensively in those games. But at the end of the day, we've had some issues with him as well, and I thought continuity was definitely on the floor in a very major way when he was not out there. So we're hurting on defense without him, but we're much better offensively without him. Who knows where we can find ways to use him that are best utilize him and ultimately help ourselves. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But for now, we'll just wait for him to come back and see how we use him. In the meantime, Dennis Schroeder, that's another situation. I'm not really sure how close we are to getting Schroeder and TB back from their finger injuries. But I know that we're getting closer. So hopefully that'll be soon. So yeah, man, this is a situation where, of course, this team just beat us. So we got to have some heart, man. We have been playing better, and then we ran into 2 really strong teams, and we didn't give ourselves the best effort. You know, we were dragged down by LeBron James and his struggles. I'm not going to even hold you. I'm not going to pull punches. No one pays me. You feel me? I don't have to lie about it. He has got to get himself together. We can't win with him playing like this. We can win if he sits down, though. If he's going to play like this, just like Russell. Don't get it twisted. If you're bringing your team down, sitting down is the way to go. Let the guys who are ready to compete play. I don't care who you are. It's about the name on the front of the jersey and what you're doing to help us from possession to possession. If you're taking possessions and throwing them away, then obviously you're part of the problem. That go for Westbrook, that go for LeBron James, that go for the guy on the back of the bench, it goes for anybody. So that's what it is. That's what I'm seeing from Bron. He's just not giving us what we need. He needs to shoot the ball better. He was 1 for 4 in the last game, shooting the 3. That's a little better. But this 0 for 5 stuff, 0 for 7 stuff, we can't revert back to that. We can't go up to Utah just because it's altitude and we played yesterday jacking up bad shots. No. Make plays for others. And that's the only way this team is going to be successful. Walker and the wrist, we're not really sure where he is with the wrist. Hopefully he'll be 100%. Yesterday we got an 0 for out of him, I think, which is definitely unlike him. So if he's not good to go, he shouldn't be out there. I know we're thin at the guard spot, but we do have a guy by the name of Max Christie that came in at the end of the game and did a few nice things. We could use his length, defensively particularly. We can use his mid-range shot, which he's really starting to find, man. He loves shooting that thing. And we can also use his ability to grab the rim because he can dunk the ball and get inside and draw fouls. He's a big guy. So I wouldn't hesitate to play Max Christie at all. I think his athleticism and his defensive prowess already is something that can be an asset to our limited basketball club. I mean, you're playing Kendrick Nunn, for goodness sake. He's better than Kendrick Nunn, period. Let's get this out of our minds. He's going to help us more than Ken. I'm sorry. I'm tired of Kendrick Nunn's nonsense. Playing the way he's playing is driving me crazy. Yesterday, I was done with him like I was done with Westbrook a couple weeks ago. When he threw that ball the way he did it in the midday game 2 weeks ago, what have you, that's how I felt about Kendrick Nunn watching the last final minutes of the game yesterday in a much lesser way. He just had absolutely no fight, no desire, no push, nothing. Just throwing up bad shots and breaking them. I'm over it. There's no rhyme or reason to the man's shot selection. It's almost like THT last year. I don't want to see it no more. So please play Max Christie, play Austin Reeves, all those guys. Call up Pippen, as I've been asking us to do. Everybody, call them all up. Anybody but him now. That's where I'm at. Him and Damian Jones, we can just go ahead and cut those guys. Straight up. No more. So this is where I'm at, man. You know, we're losing games and we're leaning on the wrong people. And then some of the guys that we know can play are not giving us the production and not being aggressive. Running around doing nothing. Pulling a Tony Snell. Unacceptable. Got to count for some production. Anthony Davis, Patrick Beverley, even though he didn't play, we're still talking about him in the same regard. You know, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, Patrick Beverly, all these guys who run around and don't account for anything on the floor when they're doing so. We can't have y'all all doing that in one game. This is how you end up with yesterday's result. It's exactly how you end up with yesterday's result. A bunch of guys running around. And you know what ends up happening? A lot of times they end up watching guys who are more aggressive brick shots. So that's what we're seeing. Bron James, bricky, brick, brick. Troy Brown, brickety, bricky, brick. You know what I'm saying? Nunn, brickety, brickety, brick. And these guys are just running on the floor with them. Running back and forth. Maybe I'll grab a board, immediately pass on one of those brickers, and keep on running. Enough. Call your number, Anthony. Call your number, Austin. Call your number, other guys who need to be aggressive. And that's what I got to say, man. Bron James, stop shooting the mid-range. What the hell? We thought that thing airball like 3 times, bro. You have no lift. I know that foot has been a problem. Not enough has been said about his foot issue. He needs to sit until it's right. You got the foot, you got the stomach, you got everything else that's going on off the court. Sit. Bron should not play tonight. Period. He should sit. He shouldn't even flew to Utah. He should be in his bed, honestly, tonight. He shouldn't even be in Utah. But that's just my personal opinion, man. At some point in time, he just needs to recalibrate. You know what I mean? And get focused and figure out what the hell he wants to do, because he's stuck here. You signed the extension. You're stuck here this season. There's a 99.9% chance you are not winning a championship, and you're going to have to play basketball, so get over it. Anyway, that's where I'm at with it. That's literally where I'm at with that. Kind of tired of the attitude and the production to match. So, that's where I'm at. As a Lakers fan, I'm pretty happy with the rest of the team, though. Welcome back, Russell Westbrook. Glad you're playing well, man. We react to what we see. You know what I'm saying? Just like I was calling for Westbrook to be sent home, now I'm calling for Westbrook to play more and play a lot. New opinions. You know, new information gives us new opinions, man. Simple and plain. We ain't married to nothing. You play well, we ready to give you praise. You play trash, we gonna call it out. Man, that's that. You know what I mean? So, against the Utah Jazz, I want to see us rebound over 42. Obviously, we had a couple situations where we rebounded the ball fairly well, but there weren't a whole lot of misses going on. You know, yesterday's game was a whole lot of free throws going on, and we talked a lot about that. Donovan Mitchell, stellar free throw performance. We love seeing the free throw show that was that basketball game. Anyway, in the game before that, of course, we had the situation where we just could not guard them at all. They never missed that Utah Jazz team. So if we can just find ourselves a bit better in terms of fouling, don't foul as much, do not send the Utah Jazz to the line like we did these guys, and guard the 3. You know what I mean? I expect the 3-point barrage and the overall scoring. And go to AD. Go to AD. Use him. Utilize him much or early than often. They don't have anybody that can guard him. That's it. There's no one that is on the Utah Jazz team that should honestly be able to stop him when he's in his bag. And when he gets in his bag, don't settle for mid-range jumpers. Get in the paint and dunk the ball. Get in the paint and do your jump hooks and do the stuff that's going to give you high percentage looks. Because if you're going to be calling your number only to brick 20% from behind the arc or 20% from the field, that's just, you might as well just run around and do nothing, truthfully. So that's what I got to say, man. That is where we're at, man. I'm pretty excited about this game, 7-15 Utah. Yeah, man, Jordan Clarkson. Be careful about Jordan Clarkson. We know he just dropped, what was it, 20-something on us, 20-8? That is a very serious player right now who's going after the 6th man of the year and maybe his first All-Star appearance. So if we don't think he's going to have confidence at home, we're fooling ourselves. He should play very well there. So, yeah, that's what I got to say, man. I'm reaching the Kobe minute, of course. And we show love as we always do. Appreciate all the championships and all that good stuff that we've had. But now we're trying to go after a different type of goal. And that goal is to just be a decent basketball club that can continue to shoot the 3 ball better. You know what I mean? We have been shooting it. I can say that's the one constant in all of these games, is that we're still getting better from behind the arc. We only shot 26 of them, and I think we shot we hit 11 of them, I believe it was. So that's a very good thing for us. Very good thing. If we can stay in that range, we'll be very pleased. As I said, rebounding is important, particularly Troy Brown. When he rebounds well, we're a better rebounding team. Him and AD, they got to really put in 10 on rebounding also. Please play Wenyen Gabriel in the 4th. He is also a player that we should have been using in the 4th quarter of that game. AD and Wenyen were killing it in the first half with Russell Westbrook. You need both of those same dynamics in the second half, all 3 of those same dynamics in the second half, in order to get the same result, in my opinion. And so go with what works. If the hot hand is an entirely different trio tonight, then we need to stay with that hot hand. But we must see 48 minutes of consistency tonight. And for God's sakes, there's a real pecking order on this team. Let's keep it. Bron, AD, probably Walker, and some guys after that. Don't give Troy Brown more points and more shots than AD. Don't have Bron shooting twice as many shots as AD. That's bad offense for us. We got to do better. We got to be more unselfish, and guys got to be a unit. And the people who are selfish and the guys who are after it for themselves and that's it, they need to be sat. Darvin, you got to point out them dudes. You got to sit them down. There's a lot of individuals out here. They're going to help you lose. BDL44, thank you all for watching.